Hi, 6th and 7th graders. I am just making this video so that we can go over the course overview together. So this is just basically what is going to happen in your either your social studies or language arts courses with me this year. So in order to get credit for this assignment, of course, you need to watch this video and answer the questions at the end. So my name is Mrs. Hool, and you can remember that because it rhymes with pool. Um, so in addition to teaching history and world civilizations and language arts, I also teach French here at Icon to high school students. So I live in the Boise Mountains with my daughter, my husband, and two cats. So you have my contact information here, and I have also mailed it to your home, and I am also emailing it to your home. So print off my contact information because if you're ever stuck on anything or have a question, need help, anything, you can email me or give me a call. So to begin the courses, um, at the beginning of each unit, you'll find an overview. In other words, what you're going to learn in that unit. So also included in that overview are study guides for each quiz and test in your unit, and some units will have important links for reading or any other resources you might need. So that will be the first lesson in every unit for you. And in order to get credit for that, all you'll have to do is tell me what the unit is about. Just read the brief paragraph and tell me what the unit is about, and make sure that you can access the links to all the study guides. You won't need to actually turn in the study guides until the assignments that come later, but their links are there for you. Additional materials that you might need for this course, of course, you need internet access. And if your internet goes out at home, you're going to need to make sure that you have internet access either at the library, a neighbor's house, a friend's house, something. So that part is your responsibility, is your internet connection. You will also need an encyclopedia. It can be any encyclopedia online. And you need to be able to research things online. You may need paper, pencils, or other writing materials. On occasion, you may need a printer or access to a relative's, a friend's, or a library printer. Not very much, but sometimes. So, and also you're going to be required to be able to look things up in a newspaper. If you don't get a copy of the newspaper delivered to your home, you can always look on idahostatesman.com. They have lots of articles for the Boise newspaper. And also a section of newspaper with the world news in it. And again, if you don't have that, go to idahostatesman.com for those assignments. Any live class assignments in your course will need to be completed in the following way. So to help you with more difficult assignments and projects, I have scheduled a live class assignment throughout the units. Not every unit has one, but most of them do. As the time gets closer for each assignment, I will send out an email for you to either attend a live class session with me online or to watch a recording of it and call me for credit. So you will be required to complete one of those options for credit for the assignment, and you won't be able to do that project in advance. So in other words, you're either going to have to be with me online or watch the recording and call me to tell me what you saw in the video. And that'll get a little bit clearer as we go along. So my grading policy and grading weights. First of all, if you're concerned about any assignments, your grade or your progress, please contact me as soon as possible. I do expect you to read and study the lessons and complete all of the lessons, projects, quizzes, and tests in the order that they're due. So this is really important. If a question is left blank, it's a 0 for that question. If a project is left blank, the whole project is a 0. Lessons left incomplete before going on to the next unit will be zeros. And if an assignment is plagiarized or copied, it will be a 0. except for the first offense, and you'll have to redo the lesson in that case. Um, excuse me, extra credit is available if you have no zeros and you would like to improve your grade. So, and if you do have any zeros, we can talk about how to get them to be a real grade instead of a zero. So contact me if you'd like to consider extra credit or improve any zero grades. So lessons, regular lessons are 25% of your grade. So you have just 2 attempts to reach a score of at least 75%. After that, you just need to take the grade you learned on the assignment. Now, there are a lot of lessons, more lessons than anything else. So although together they're worth 25% of your grade, each one isn't weighted all that much because there's lots of them. Now, if we go on to projects, they're worth 25% of your grade also, but there's usually only 1, maybe 2 projects per unit. So that's going to count higher for your grade. Blank projects are not accepted, so you will need to do something on a project, and I can help you if you need anything or you need any suggestions or help starting projects. Quizzes are also worth 25% of your unit grade. You only have 1 opportunity to complete quizzes and tests, so make sure you're prepared before you open the quiz or test. Okay, in quizzes there's usually 2 to 3 per unit, so those will be worth more than a regular lesson. And tests are 25% of your unit grade. There's only 1 test per unit, so it is going to count a lot higher than a regular lesson. And you have only 1 opportunity to complete the quiz or the test again, so again, make sure you're prepared before you open them. Okay, now excuse me, a note regarding blank questions or assignments. It is the school-wide policy of ICON to reassign blank essay and short answer questions within lessons, quizzes, and tests. Students submitting blank work will have these questions reassigned, and repeated blank work will result in assignments being locked and may result in parent-teacher conferences to resolve this issue. So, in other words, you have to complete all the questions. Even if on the multiple choice you got a good grade and you don't feel like doing the essay or short answer, you still need to complete it because it's the policy at ICON that I have to reassign things if you don't do them. So just be aware of that. Projects and written work. So most of your projects must be completed as a document, like as in a Word document or open office document on your computer. So then you'll save that on your computer and attach it to your assignment in order to submit it. So it says pay attention to specific instructions for the project length, organization, and content of your project essays and reports. And if you have any questions, please contact me right away. So really important is I highly recommend that you save all of your written work of any length to your computer before submitting. Because one big drawback to online schooling is that sometimes your work is lost in cyberspace and you'll have to resubmit. But if your work is saved somewhere on your computer, you won't have to redo an entire assignment, just resubmit it to me. So, but if you haven't had it saved on your computer, you would have to redo the rest because, as you know, glitches happen and it's going to happen sometime this year that an assignment you think is sent doesn't get sent, and I'll ask you to send it. So please save your work before sending it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about study guides. In all of my courses, study guides will be actual lessons to be turned in before working on each quiz or test. An incomplete study guide will be treated as a blank essay, so you have to do it, in other words, or I have to reassign it. Assignment reference numbers are given for quiz study guides. So that means on each question on the quiz study guide, I give you a number to look back at what lesson it was in, so you'll know where to look for the answer. Test study guides, however, do not have assignment references, but instead it's your responsibility to find the information in the assignments and I won't give you the answers, but a study guide does count towards your grade. So, in other words, if you get something wrong on a study guide, I'll reassign it to you and say you got this number and this number and this number wrong, and you do have a chance to redo before you take your quiz or test. If you're having a hard time finding certain answers, call me or attend a live office session for help. Um, and as I said, I will let you know which answers are incorrect on each study guide. You are expected to correct them and resubmit, since they're mostly actual questions from the quiz or test. So this is a real benefit for you, that I give you the questions to the quiz or test in advance, so you get a chance to find the correct answers. And then I'll see which ones are incorrect, then you have a chance to correct. So after correcting, then you may go on to the quiz or test. Be sure to work on other courses while you're waiting for a study guide to be graded. Waiting for corrections will ensure that you do your best on the quiz or test. You will also have 2 chances to complete a study guide correctly. After that, you'll need to take whatever grade you receive on it. I expect you to use the study guide for correct answers as you take each quiz or test. And that's because you basically have all the right answers. So make sure you leave time on the days that you have study guide assignments to redo them before you take your quiz or test. Okay, so one of the last things we need to talk about is plagiarism. Well, let's get on this right. Okay. Plagiarism is essentially copying someone else's work and making it your own. You will need to write any researched material in your own words. This doesn't mean just changing the words in a sentence or paragraph. You must read and then interpret the material into your own words and language. You must include citations anytime you research or look up information. And below, I'll give you some examples of how to do that. Using a quote in your answer is not plagiarism if you use quotation marks, you keep it to just 1 or 2 lines, and if you tell where the quote came from. So what's really important to remember is if an assignment is plagiarized, it will be a 0, except for the first offense, and I'll ask you to redo, and I'll contact your parents in that case. And depending on the situation, I might have to contact the ICON administration, but hopefully we can just straighten it out and get it resubmitted and learn how to do it correctly. And extra credit is available if you have no zeros, your work is on pace, and you would like to improve your grade. Again, please contact me if you'd like to consider extra credit. So now, to avoid plagiarism, here's citing your resources. So I need you to print out and keep a copy of this somewhere. In your welcome email and in a welcome letter that you received in regular mail, I sent you this very thing on how to cite your resources. Okay, so if you don't have that handy, print this out, because many projects will require that you research information from a book, newspaper, or website every time you use, not just quote from, information that someone else has written. You must cite your sources to give the author credit. So it says, please follow a citation style that includes at least these details. So you need to use the author's name, if it's known, the title of the article or book, the published date of the article or book, approximate if not known exactly, the date you accessed the information for websites, that's important to include, and then the URL address taken from the address bar for websites. Then it gives you an example of how to cite a website. So they say netting, comma, Ruth. There's the person's name, the author. The title of the article or book, there it is, Tropical Twisters. Sometimes you might not have this. Okay, but if there is an article, then you have to put that. Then it says The published date, it was published on January 22nd, 2003 by NASA. And then web, you found it on the internet, so web. And the date you accessed the information, August 30th, 2012. And then the URL address taken from the address bar. Okay, you can't just cite a website by saying www.nasa.gov, or you can't just put I found it on Google. Those aren't the correct way to do it, and I would have to reassign something and have you do it the correct way. So if you have any questions on how to do these source citations, I'm here to help you. So all you have to do is send me a message through Odysseyware, or email me, or give me a call, and I'd be happy to help. So have a great semester, and be sure to keep in contact with me. Thanks. Bye.